That night, the doors of the luxury restaurant were open to VIP customers as usual, but no one knew that the new waitress working in the kitchen was actually a world-famous star. Rihanna had tied up her hair, put on an apron, and hidden her identity. Her goal was simple: to see how female workers were really treated. But that night, a customer's rude behavior would change everything. What would happen when Rihanna's true identity was revealed? And how would this restaurant never be the same again? In the bustling kitchen of the upscale restaurant, the clatter of pots and pans filled the air. Rihanna moved swiftly, balancing trays and preparing orders alongside the other waitresses. She had light makeup on, her hair neatly tied up, and her identity perfectly concealed. No one suspected that the new hire was one of the most famous women in the world. Hidden in her apron pocket was a small camera, discreetly recording every moment. Her mission was clear: to expose the everyday struggles of women in the workplace. But that night, she would uncover far more than she had anticipated. As Rihanna delivered orders to the tables, she noticed a group of three businessmen seated at a corner table. Their loud laughter and boisterous behavior already set them apart from the other patrons. When she approached, one of them waved his hand dismissively and said, "Hey, sweetie, do you have a special menu for us?" Rihanna smiled politely and handed them the standard menu. But the men's tone quickly shifted from playful to patronizing. "Come on, don't be shy. We're here to have a good time," another added, winking at her. Rihanna maintained her composure, but the tension was palpable. When she returned to the kitchen, she pulled Maria, a seasoned waitress, aside. "Does this kind of thing happen often?" she asked, recounting the incident. Maria sighed, her face a mix of frustration and resignation. "You'll get used to it. It's part of the job," she said, rolling her eyes. "They think they can treat us however they want because we're just waitresses." Determined to make a difference, Rihanna decided to push back the next time the men crossed the line. When she returned to their table, the situation escalated. One of the men, emboldened by his earlier behavior, reached out and touched her arm. "We want to have some fun with you. What do you say?" he said with a smirk. Rihanna's eyes narrowed. "Your behavior is inappropriate. Please stop," she said firmly. But the men only laughed, as if her words were a joke. Back in the kitchen, Rihanna checked her camera. The footage was crystal clear, every word, every gesture captured. But before she could process her next move, the restaurant manager, a stern man named Mr. Thompson, approached her. "The customers are complaining about your attitude. You need to be more polite," he said, his tone cold and dismissive. Rihanna stared at him in disbelief. "Did they tell you what they said to me?" she asked. Mr. Thompson shrugged. "It doesn't matter. They're paying customers. Just do your job." As the night progressed, Rihanna noticed another waitress, a young woman named Amina, struggling to keep up with the demands of the kitchen. Amina, a recent immigrant, was clearly new to the job and seemed overwhelmed. Rihanna approached her during a brief lull. "Are you okay?" she asked gently. Amina hesitated, then whispered, "I don't know if I can do this. The customers are so rude, and the manager doesn't care." Rihanna placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You're not alone. We'll get through this together," she said. Meanwhile, Chef Marco, the head chef of the restaurant, observed Rihanna's interactions with the staff. Known for his fiery temper and perfectionism, Marco had little patience for mistakes. But there was something different about Rihanna. "You're not like the others," he said to her one evening. "You carry yourself differently. What's your story?" Rihanna smiled enigmatically. "Maybe I'll tell you someday," she replied. The tension reached its peak when Rihanna returned to the businessmen's table to deliver their final order. One of the men, clearly intoxicated, grabbed her hand and said, "Let's go out. You don't need to work here." Enough was enough. Rihanna pulled her hand away and raised her voice. "Your behavior is unacceptable," she declared. The entire restaurant fell silent, all eyes turning toward her. The men stared in shock, their smug expressions replaced by confusion. Rihanna took off her apron and let her hair down. revealing her true identity. "I'm Rihanna," she announced, "and I'm going to show the world how women are treated in this restaurant." The room erupted in murmurs of disbelief. The manager, Mr. Thompson, rushed over, his face pale. "Please, this is just a misunderstanding," he stammered. But Rihanna was ready. She pulled out her camera and said, "This isn't a misunderstanding. It's a systemic problem." The other waitresses, inspired by Rihanna's courage, stepped forward to share their own experiences. Maria spoke about the constant harassment she endured, while Amina revealed how she had been belittled and ignored. Even Chef Marco, who had always been focused on his kitchen, admitted that he had turned a blind eye to the mistreatment of the staff. The next day, the video Rihanna had recorded went viral on social media. The restaurant faced a wave of public backlash, forcing them to implement new policies to combat gender discrimination. Sensitivity training was introduced, and a zero-tolerance policy for harassment was established. As Rihanna left the restaurant for the last time, Maria and Amina hugged her tightly. "Because of you, our voices will finally be heard," Maria said, tears in her eyes. Rihanna smiled warmly. "This is just the beginning," she replied. "Change starts with us." In the weeks that followed, the restaurant underwent a transformation. Amina, inspired by Rihanna's actions, decided to pursue her dream of becoming a chef. With the support of her colleagues, she enrolled in culinary school and eventually became a sous chef at the restaurant. Chef Marco, once known for his temper, became an advocate for his staff, ensuring that everyone felt respected and valued. The restaurant's reputation improved, and it became a model for inclusivity and respect. Customers who once turned a blind eye to the mistreatment of staff now praised the establishment for its commitment to change. Rihanna, meanwhile, continued her work as an advocate for women's rights. She used her platform to shine a light on workplace discrimination, inspiring countless others to stand up for their rights. As she reflected on her experience, Rihanna knew that the fight for equality was far from over. But she also knew that every small step forward made a difference, and with leaders like her, the future looked brighter than ever. The story of Rihanna, the waitress who changed the world, became a beacon of hope for women everywhere. And as she walked away from the restaurant that night, she knew that her mission was just beginning. This brings us to the end of this story. Thank you for watching till the end. I hope you enjoyed the story. If you did, don't hesitate to like the video and share it with your friends. 2. Subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell for more fascinating stories. Have a nice day.